So I have this question here from Seth. And Seth is saying, I've been listening to your podcast and I find it incredibly enlightening. I have a question regarding my design business. I specialize in brand identity design, but I've been struggling to attract clients. Last year, I chose to pursue knowledge that was eye-opening and helped me hone my creativity. Currently, my challenge is figuring out how to acquire clients and elevate my business to the next level. I secured a remote job last year, but it is somewhat affecting my design business. My ultimate goal is to establish a design agency or studio, but I feel confused about the steps I need to take. All right, thank you very much for this question, Seth. And this is a career-related question that Seth is asking. But in the midst of these career-related questions, there are some mindset issues here that I would like to address. So it might take me a while to answer this question. So I need to beg for your patience if you are listening to this. Because a lot of things need to be addressed. Now, with Seth's question, when you listen to it, you kind of think the question is about how can he attract clients. But before we address how we can attract clients, we need to know why he isn't attracting clients and what the foundation of this problem really is. I think reading through Seth's question, it caught my attention when with the second paragraph that he wrote, it says, currently, my challenge is figuring out how to acquire clients and elevate my business to the next level. Then goes on to say, I secured a remote job last year, but it's somewhat affecting my design business. Nobody elevates anything by being distracted from it. I think that's where I just want to start from with answering Steph's question before I talk about how you can attract more clients. First and foremost, let's make this clear. Nothing improves by distraction. Nothing improves by you taking your attention away from it. Everything improves by focus. Nothing improves once you take your eyes off it. Nothing improves once you take your eyes off it. Everything improves with focus. Focus is very important. I think taking a remote job was a mistake on Seth's part. That's a mistake. If you want to build a design business and elevate it to the next level, what you do is that you focus. That's what you do. If you want to take something to the next level, you put everything into it, and then it goes to the next level. That's how things work. Nothing works by distraction. Distraction doesn't elevate anything. It weakens things. So I think the first thing that Seth needs to do is to really ask himself whether he really wants to take his design business to the next level. If you really want to take your design business to the next level, you need to focus. You need to pack it all in. You cannot be doing 5 things at the same time. A lot of us underestimate what it means to take a job. You see, we need to be very careful about the words that start with INS. Institution, inspire, instruction, instrument, all those words. You need to be very careful before committing to a word that starts with INS. Because what it means, when anything starts with INS, what it means is that thing starts to work on you from the inside. It starts to control you from the inside. If you are not careful, that thing starts to manipulate you on the inside. It invades your inside, it invades you, and then it will affect the way you see everything on the exterior. Everything that starts with INS. What it's saying is permission to invade you. Permission to invade your privacy. Permission to toil with your mind. Permission to own your mind and the way you think. When they say something is an institution, a lot of people think the institution is the establishment on the outside. So when you say the religious institution, we look at the church building, we look at the mosque, we look at religious building. The building is just the establishment. You establish the building. The institution is what is established in your mind. The financial institution is not really the bank. It is what the bank is trying to do to your mind. So when we look at work as an institution, a corporate institution, we don't understand that it doesn't matter whether you're working remotely or you're working on site. They own your mind. Once you take a job, they've taken your mind whether you like it or not. They've taken your mind while you sleep. They're taking your mind while you're awake. They're taking your mind when your day is off and when your day is on. Your mind subconsciously is thinking about work. So when people say, I'm running a business, but then I have another job. But the good thing is that it's an off-site job, it's a remote job, so they think they are free. No, it's a corporate institution. You've allowed it to take your mind. So your mind can no longer be on your business. At the same time, it owns your mind. It's not particularly a bad thing, and it's not a bad thing. For something to go in your mind, not a bad thing if you believe in it and you align with the values it's proposing. But a lot of people align with institutions mindlessly. You understand? Mindlessly, without choosing. Everybody's doing it, so I'm going to do it. Everybody open a bank account, I'm going to open a bank account. You understand? Financial institution. Everybody's getting a job. I need to get a job immediately after school. Corporate institution. Everybody's going to school. I need to go to school. Educational institution. Everybody goes to church on Sunday, go to mosque on Friday. I need to go to religious institution. So you just use herd mentality, and then you give the most valuable asset you have as a human being, your mind, in way at them very, very cheaply. It doesn't matter whether you have a remote job or not. You are working for a corporate institution. They own your mind. So your business can never grow. I try to tell people this, but people still think that it's something they can manipulate. But it's almost impossible. I don't want to be absolute, that's why I say almost. I've hardly seen a business that thrives while the same person that owns the business is working a job. A lot of people think they are thriving, but in the end, the business fails. It's either it fails in terms of structure, you understand, it fails in terms of they cannot meet up to their services, to their clients anymore, or it fails in terms of culture, where somebody on the inside will sabotage the business. So if it doesn't fail in terms of structure, whereby they can't meet up to demand anymore because MD, CEO is not around, he's going to go and work his federal government job, thinking that gives him time to work 2 jobs, you realize that they can't meet up anymore. Customers will want 10, they can only deliver 5. Customers want it tomorrow, they only deliver it in 2 days' time because this distraction, structure has failed. Or it fails in terms of culture, whereby because you are not around, you hire somebody, a shop assistant, a manager, a sales rep, whatever it is, and that person now sabotages your business. You hear them ranting a lot on social media. My manager stole 10 million. My manager stole 5 million. My manager was stealing my products. My manager put on my clients. They diverted clients because you were distracted. Nobody that does a business that is successful is distracted. I remember reading the book Steve Jobs by Walter Isaacson, and I will recommend this book this year to anybody that is in business. Please get that book. Please get that book. I still say it. I will make out time to do a podcast on that book. It's an incredible book, especially if you are doing business. I remember when Steve Jobs wanted to start out Apple officially with his partner, Steve Wozniak. Now, Steve Jobs wasn't doing any job. He wasn't working anywhere. He worked at HP for a while, then he left. And then when we were about to start, it was him, he had another financial partner, and then there was Wozniak. And Wozniak was still working with, I think, Xerox. I can't remember what company he was working with. And Wozniak didn't want to leave his home. And they had to call him. He said, this thing cannot work if you are working in this Xerox. I can't remember. I think it's Xerox that I was working with. You need to leave them. That was one of the best fallouts they almost had. Because Wozniak wanted to work his job and work Apple at the same time. And told him it will never work. You need to be all in. You cannot be working Xerox and working Apple. He had to make that choice. That was the first tough choice he had to make. And he left his job to focus on Apple. Focus is very important. So, sir, first thing you need to do, ask yourself, do I really want to take my business to the next level? If you really want to take your business to the next level, you cannot be working a remote job. You need to be all into your business. Business is like a marriage. You cannot be married and have a side chick. It will destroy your marriage. It always does. You need to be all in. A lot of us are not all in because we are scared of being broke. We are scared of being broke. So we always want to secure ourselves financially. A lot of us are afraid to be broke because we think being broke is a stigma. We don't understand that being broke is a season. So we think being broke is a stigma. A lot of us have a faulty mentality that broke is a stigma. We don't understand that it's a season. And I don't blame the younger generation that feel this way. I blame my generation for mentoring the younger generation wrong. And I blame the generation before me, my current generation, for mentoring us wrong. They are thinking being broke is a stigma and not a season. Being broke is a season. It's not a stigma. It's a season that comes and goes. And with every season, you need to adjust the way you live. Like right here in Nigeria, right now, the season is changing. They're coming from Harmattan into very hot weather. When it was Harmattan season, I remember when it was Harmattan season, my family, everybody, we queued up to go to bed, especially up here in Abuja. We queued up to go to bed. The kids, we tell them, wear double layer, wear your socks. It's going to be very cold at night. But during this hot weather, sometimes I can sleep without a shirt. We don't put on socks for kids anymore. We don't tell them to wear double layers. They wear one layer. We tell them to wear something very light. Don't wear your long, your PJs with long trousers. Wear the one with shorts. You adjust for the season. When I was in Canada, it was funny how when I watched the way black people approached, especially immigrants, approached winter and the way white people approach winter. The black people always complain about winter. Terrible season. Oh, this, it's too cold, it's too that, it's too nasty, I can't think, I'm depressed, I'm this, I'm that. But the white people just said, it's time to get out my long johns, change my tire, snow tire, get out what I used to scrape snow on. They just prepared for the season. But because most of the immigrants were not used to it, they thought winter was a stigma. So they spent a lot of time complaining. If there's one thing somebody's going to take away from my answering Seth's question today, is that being broke is a season. Once you take it as a season, you know how to adjust your life to get through that season. But when you take it as a stigma, you make very bad decisions to evade it. A lot of people try to evade being broke, and because of that, they get broken. Anybody that is scared of being broke will always be broken. When you are scared of that season, you will take on more than you can handle so that it never happens to you. But broke might not happen to you, but brokenness would happen. You will become a broken person. Your health will get broken. Your relationship will get broken. Your mental health, your mental condition will get broken. Your perspective on life will get broken. Look, people take on more than one job because they don't want to be broke. But not understand this, that a lot of times it's a season. Everybody goes through it. I blame my generation because we do not show our season of being broke. We do not share our season of being broke. We didn't share it with our younger brothers, and we don't share it with the children we're having today. So they always expect that everything should be on the up and up. Because we always show that life is always about success, not about down times. So we see downtime as a stigma, not a season. And so everybody's insecure and everybody's pushing themselves never to have a downtime. So Seth, you need to drop one. Either drop your business and focus on this remote job you have and be the best employee that they ever had, and rise up the corporate ladder. Or leave that job and focus on your business and know that hard time will come. But it doesn't mean you're doing something wrong. It's just season. It's a seasonal thing. As an entrepreneur, do that and rise up the ladder as an entrepreneur. But that's the first thing you need to do, is to focus. Get rid of this spirit of distraction. It is keeping you or holding you back, not propelling you forward. So I think this is very important to tell you. The second thing you're saying is, how do you acquire clients? Now let's assume that you focus now. You want to acquire clients as a design business. Now this is advice I'm going to give you as somebody who ran a design business for 20 years. And I ran a pretty successful design business. And I will tell you something that a lot of designers do not do. And this is where you need to pay attention, especially if you're in the creative industry. If you're running any type of industry too, you can apply what I'm going to tell you right now. If you want to get clients, you need to know what you want to serve them. And that means you need to know the subcategories of your industry. Very important. If you want to do well in business, you must know the subcategories of the industry you are in. Every industry has a subcategory. Every industry has subcategories. Every single one. You must be aware of the subcategory you want to serve and again, focus. So when it comes to design, what are the subcategories in the design industry? I'll tell you, there are 4 that I know of. There might be more than 4, but these are the 4 that I know of. There's design education. That is a business. Design education. Teaching people design. There are lots of people that want to learn design. They want to acquire the skill of design. You must know if you want to go into that. Do you want to teach people design. You can teach them physically by having a space, or teach them digitally by having a platform. It might be a YouTube, channel or something like that, where you teach people about design. The second is production. Design production. And when I say production, I mean people that are into print and production. Print design. You understand? So people that print stuff. They are printers. They are, they print books, they print cards, they print calendars, they print everything. They produce. A lot of them are into product type, product design. No, not product design, but production. It's different between product design and production. Product design is another category. I'll come to that. But production. Do you want to be a printer? I know people that are designers that all they do is collect print work. They are the go-to people for prints. They do prints, they do 3D prints, 2D prints, whatever it is, but that's what they do. They are production people. They do t-shirts, they do face cap, collateral, all those things, calendars, wallpaper, stuff like that. They produce. They take the digital into the real world. That's one aspect of design. The second aspect, subcategory, is service. Service. This is where we have people that work a lot on their system. So they do the service of design. I need the logo, design the logo for me. I need the flyer, design a flyer for me. I need UI, design my UI for me. Those people do the service of design. They are into the service. Those people use the tools, the software, and all those things. They use the software to produce design for people. It's almost oversaturated. That part of design, oversaturated. I always tell people that's the most oversaturated part of design right now. It's getting very saturated. Also, education is getting very saturated too. But that service is getting very saturated. Everybody I tell you they're doing design, they're doing service. You understand? And to stand out in service, your skill needs to be very good. Your skill needs to be very good. Your work ethic needs to be very good. Human interaction for each part is also very good. But service is very competitive. Very competitive. And then you have the last aspect, which is consulting. It's consulting. Some people only use their minds to give design advice to people. So people come with them asking for strategy. How do I do this? How do I do this? How do I do this? So they tell them what they need to do. They do not design anything, but they tell them what they need to design. Design a very simple but yet catchy flyer. You understand? Consulting. So they can tell you what's the name of my company, what the name of my company should be. They think up of a name for you. They consult. A lot of it is verbal, is invisible, is the invisible design. It's the invisible. A lot of times it's the most lucrative, but a lot of people do not know how to set it up because they don't know how to articulate their ideas. This needs a lot of articulation. You need to be able to communicate and express yourself well. You need to be able to brand yourself well. Consulting. It can be very lucrative. It can be. A lot of people try to do it, but they try to do it at the without trying to build their communication skills. It's very, 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 very hinged on your ability to communicate, your ability to think, your sense of observation, your knowledge of human psychology. Very important. But that's a part of it's another subcategory of design. So you need to think of where your strength lies. There's your strength lie in any of these subcategories: education, production, service, consulting. Now I see a lot of people, they are not focused. And it all comes out that I don't want to be broke. So they're doing consulting and doing service at the same time. Hardly ever works. Hardly ever works. You see, I read this book. This book by Steve Jobs by Walter Isaacson opened my eyes to a lot of things. Subcategories of design were now open to me because I saw him working with multiple design companies. Some of them were into service. So when they had to do some kind of service, run some kind of marketing scheme, you understand? When they wanted to produce like flyers and things like that, ad campaign, they will go to this service company. There was a guy called Lee Clow, the head of TBWA. He worked with Steve Jobs on Apple for a very long time. He was in the service industry of design. He was in the service industry of design. But when Steve Jobs wanted to do more of marketing stuff, he used to go to, I've forgotten the name of the guy. He was a marketing genius. I can't remember his name. But then that's what he does. He was more in the consulting sphere. He consulted for a lot of companies in Silicon Valley. Never touched like computer to do design. He always used his mind. So we come up with slogans, come up with marketing approach and stuff like that. I cannot remember his name. But if you read that book, Steve Jobs worked with those two guys, both in design, but different categories of design. So you need to know what category you are in. Once you know what category you are in, you know what to focus on. Because one thing I want you to know about clients is clients desire expertise. Your ability to do one thing and to do it well. One thing that helped me while I was doing design was my ability to focus on logo design. It was a very hard decision because I felt like at that time I could do logo, I could do web, I could do animation, I could do motion, and then but I realized nobody was coming until the day I made the decision that I wanted to focus on logo design. So even within the subcategories, that is service, there is now a subcategory, other subcategory within that service. But until I was able to narrow it down to logo design, I have been knocking on my door non-stop, talking about me to other people. They're like, logo, go and meet that guy. Logo, go and meet that guy. Logo, and people used to ask me, how do you survive on just doing logos? That's exactly how I survived, by just doing logos. So that's my advice for you, Seth, and for any other person listening in today. If you want to do your business, a very important thing to do is to focus. Everything I've said right now is about focus. Focus is key. Focus is essential. Focus is important. And that's the only way a business can thrive.